When you started to teach the seminar, did that really have an impact on your performance as an athlete? Like
It
really
did.
understanding
Yeah.
this nuances of movement. Like what were some revelations that you made while teaching that course?
Yeah, I really started to like kind of dial my training in and get more organized with my training, because prior to that, I definitely still followed like the conjugate system, but I don't know, I just kind of would wing it every week, so learning more about it like helped me to be more just organized with my training and like regimented with it, and like picking things and learning how to pick movements that are like testers and some that are builders, and expanding my horizons with accessory work, learning how to figure out, what my weaknesses were and how to attack them, like what accessory movements to pick, and also learning how to, focus on if it's like a max effort movement, like getting that done, like that's a tester. So I'm going to get that done quickly. I'm not going to like spend 3 hours squatting anymore. I'm going to 7 to 9 total attempts. I'm done, because with the conjugate system, which is, really, really, like specifically the West Side conjugate system for equipped lifting, it's perfect the way it's set up. But like, I just started to learn that I was spending way too much time and effort on my main movement and not as much on my accessories, so, that's, where certain things started to like maybe, kind of stall, like my bench stalled for a little while. Like, I really wanted a 500-pound bench, and it was just like stuck between the 450, 460 mark. And it was like, okay, I need to start figuring out what is going on, so, I started to like be more diligent about my accessory work and pushing it, pushing my accessory work. I wasn't pushing my accessory work very much before, because I was so focused on that main movement. Like if it was like the 1 rep max, whatever, bench press, it was just, I would spend probably hour and a half to 2 hours maybe working up to that single, and probably taking way too many attempts, doing way too many attempts, which leaves me nothing for accessory work, so once I started to figure out like, okay, like, I started planning my max effort, so I tell that to people all the time in seminars now. I'm like, usually the conjugate system doesn't work for people because they overdo it. They do way too much volume on max effort on that main movement, doing 10, 15 sets, because they just keep going and going, adding a little bit of weight, and then spending way too much time on that main movement. So that leaves them very little time or energy to do their accessory work. So that ends up suffering. And you're not really going to get, by doing 1 rep max, that's not going to make you necessarily stronger. Like your accessory work's going to make you stronger. Your dynamic effort days make you stronger because there's a lot more volume. So those are like little mistakes people make, and little mistakes I was making, not on my dynamic effort days, not going fast enough, so I was kind of like not conditioned. One time Louis had Phil Harrington and I do that video for the combine or whatever, that DVD he put out for training for the combine. And so he had us doing our speed squats, like 10 doubles, right into 10 doubles on the deadlift with bands. And like, we were on a timer. We had to pick up the bar, each of us, like they were loading the weight. So we would have the bar out of the rack every 20 seconds, like not like every 20 seconds, like each of us every 20 seconds. So I had to do that and to make it look good for the camera too, and I'm, as a power lifter with like very little, like I didn't focus much on conditioning at all, going right into the deadlift. When I got done with that, it was like one of the hardest workouts I had ever done. And it was just like, this should be like kind of standard, like, maybe for a power lifter, maybe 30 to 40 seconds of rest. But, I thought I didn't rest very long on dynamic effort, but that day like opened up my eyes. I was like, I am super out of shape, so focusing more on conditioning, GPP, sled work, keeping my dynamic effort work, to the true percentages. I think sometimes people use too much weight on dynamic effort, because they don't really understand what they should be basing it off of, percentages and whatnot, or having a skewed idea of what their max is to base their percentages off of. So kind of correcting things like that to get my training right helped me so much, and it helped me to help coaching other people too.
Great train and I'm right on track. I'm smoking.